Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Virtual CISO Moment. I'm Greg Schaefer, and this is the Infosec wrap-up for Friday, August 25th, 2023. We dive right into it from the register. Criminals wipe all servers and customer data, and provider can't and will not pay the ransom. Cloud Nordic has told customers to consider all of their data lost following a ransomware infection that encrypted the large Danish cloud's provider services and, quote, paralyzed Cloud Nordics completely, according to the IT outfit's online confession. Now, the intrusion happened in the early morning hours of August 18th, during which miscreants shut down all of Cloud Nordic's systems, wiping both company and customers' websites and email systems. Now, since then, the IT team and third-party responders have been working to restore punters' data, but as of today, or rather as of Tuesday, it isn't looking great. Quote, "We cannot and do not want to meet the financial demands of the criminal hackers for ransom," Cloud Nordic said in an online notice translated from Danish. "Unfortunately, it has proved impossible to recreate more data, and the majority of our customers have thus lost all data with us," the alert continued. "This applies to everyone we have not contacted yet at this time. So if you're a customer of them and you haven't heard from them, it doesn't mean that you got off, apparently." The self-proclaimed Nordic cloud expert said they reported the intrusion to the police, and while none of this is good news to organizations that have now lost all of their data and website, Cloud Nordic does offer a slight silver lining. The business doesn't believe that the criminals exfiltrated any information before encrypting the systems. I guess you could say that's a little bit of good news. Thinking about a few words here, backup and eggs in one basket. The Hacker News reports the North Korea-linked threat actor known as Lazarus Group has been observed exploiting now patched critical security flaw impacting Zoho Managed Engine Service Desk Plus to distribute a remote access Trojan called Quiet Rat. Now, targets include internet backbone infrastructure and healthcare entities in Europe and the United States. Cybersecurity company Cisco Talos said in a two-part analysis published earlier this week. What's more, a closer examination of the adversary's recycled attack infrastructure and its cyber assaults on enterprises has led to the discovery of a new threat dubbed Collection Rat. Now, the fact that Lazarus Group continues to rely on the same tradecraft, despite those components being well documented over the years, underscores the threat actor's confidence in its operations, Talos pointed out. Quiet Rat is said to be a successor to Magic Rat, itself a follow-up to Tiger Rat. There will be a quiz after this. While Collection Rat appears to share overlaps with Early Rat, also known as Jupiter, an implant written in pure BASIC with capabilities to run commands on the endpoint. vCISO Services is a small, specialized, veteran-owned information security firm with a calling, founded on Christian values and focused on the needs of small and mid-sized businesses. Our passion is to help small and mid-sized businesses gain a fighting chance in an increasingly hostile cybersecurity threat environment by providing executive part-time virtual CISO services, information security risk management services, and CISO advisory services. Check them out at vcisoservices.com. Now, also coming to us from the Hacker News, new Witty Recon malware triangulates infected device locations via Wi-Fi every minute. The smoke loader malware is being used to deliver a new Wi-Fi scanning malware strain. It's called Wi-Fi Recon on compromised Windows machines. Quote, "This new malware strain has only one operation. Every 60 seconds, it triangulates the infected system's positions by scanning nearby Wi-Fi access points as a data point for Google's geolocation API. This, according to SecureWorks Counter Threat Unit, in a statement shared with the Hacker News earlier this week. The location returned by Google's geolocation API is then sent back to the adversary. Smoke Loader, as the name implies, is a loader malware that has the sole purpose to drop additional payloads onto a host. Since 2014, the malware has been offered for sale to Russian-based threat actors. It's traditionally distributed via phishing emails. Wi-Fi Recon works by checking for the WLAN autoconfig service, WLAN SVC, on the infected system and terminating itself if the service name doesn't exist. It's worth noting that the scanner does not validate if it's operational. Persistence is achieved by means of a shortcut that's added to the Windows startup folder. Interesting stuff. Two vulnerabilities that are affecting some versions of JupyterX Core, a premium plugin for setting up WordPress and WooCommerce sites, allow hijacking accounts and uploading files without authentication. Now, this is according to Bleeping Computer. JupyterX Core is an easy-to-use yet powerful visual editor, part of the JupyterX theme, which is used in over 172,000 websites. Rafi Mohammed, an analyst at WordPress security company PatchStack, discovered the two critical vulnerabilities and reported them to ArtB, the developer of JupyterX Core, who then addressed the issues earlier this month. The first vulnerability is identified as CVE 2023-38388 and allows for uploading files without authentication, which could lead to executing arbitrary code on the server. The security problem has received a severity score of 9.0, and it impacts all JupyterX Core versions starting at 3.35 and below. The developer fixed the problem in version 3.3.8 of the plugin. Now, CVE 2023-38388 can be exploited because there is no authentication checks within the plugin's upload files function, which can be called from the front end by anyone. The vendor's patch adds a check for the function and also activates a second check to prevent uploading risky file types. From Infosecurity magazine, data from 2.6 million users of Duolingo, a language learning platform with over 74 million monthly users, has been leaked on a hacking forum. The compromised data, which includes real names, login names, email addresses, and internal service-related details, was initially offered for sale of the now defunct breached hacking forum in January of 2023 for $1,500. Despite Duolingo's confirmation to the record that the data was sourced from publicly accessible profiles, the leaked email addresses are particularly alarming as they are not public information and can facilitate targeted phishing attempts. Quote, "We're aware of this report. These records were obtained by data scraping public profile information. We have no indication that our systems were compromised. We take data privacy and security seriously and are continuing to investigate this matter to determine if any further action is needed to protect our learners." That's from a spokesperson from the company, confirmed in an email to Infosecurity magazine. Quote, "This is yet another example of why every online service should take proactive security measures to prevent mass data scraping." This, according to Roger Grimes, data-driven defense evangelist at KnowBe4. Quote, "The ability of a scammer to link someone's service, in this case Duolingo, to their email address and name will allow for more realistic phishing attempts. More people will fall for those scams than they otherwise would." The scraped dataset was brought to light by VX Underground on the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, on Monday, and it was made available on a new version of the breached hacking forum. The cost of accessing this dataset was set at 8 site credits, which is just $2.13. The breach reportedly originated from an exposed application programming interface, API, because you know why, discovered in March 2023 that enables the retrieval of user profile information. This API inadvertently permitted unauthorized access to email addresses associated with Duolingo accounts. Barracuda customers, wake up! If you're still using the vendor's vulnerability-plagued Email Security Gateway, ESG, because acronyms, should remove the appliance from operation immediately, the FBI has warned. SC Media says a large number of the appliances around the world were hit in a zero-day attack discovered in May and subsequently attributed to a previously unknown threat group dubbed UNC 4841 by Mandiant, suspected of being linked to China. Barracuda issued patches for the critical remote command and junction vulnerability, CVE 2023-2868, for those who are tracking those sorts of things, and also took the unusual step of telling customers it would replace any appliances that had been compromised. We talked about this beforehand, but the FBI's cyber division upped those stakes this past Wednesday. They said in a flash advisory that, quote, "Barracuda customers should remove all ESG appliances immediately because, quote, the patches released by Barracuda in response to the CVE were ineffective." Nothing worse than an ineffective patch. The Bureau said that it had independently verified that all exploited ESG appliances, even those with patches pushed out by Barracuda, remain at risk for continued computer network compromise from suspected PRC, People Republic of China, cyber actors exploiting this vulnerability. So upgrade them if you got them, or unplug them, I should say, and then upgrade them if you got them. Finally, I had only one job to get that right. Finally, eSecurity Planet has an interesting and detailed blog post on spear phishing that I thought some of you may like, so I included it in today's show. Spear phishing is a more targeted and effective phishing technique that attempts to exploit specific individuals or groups within an organization. Many of you know that, most of you know that, probably all of you know that. Now, while phishing uses a broader range of tactics, such as mass emailing to random recipients, spear phishing is often well researched and tailored to high value targets. A typical spear phishing attack follows a familiar pattern of emails with attachments. Now, what sets spear phishing apart is the level of personalization included in the email content, catering to the recipient's name, position, or rank within the company. This method involves using emails and social media, instant messaging, and other platforms to manipulate users into revealing personal information or performing actions that can lead to network compromise, data loss, or financial harm. Spear phishing is a highly effective technique as it uses personalization, mind manipulation, and social engineering to exploit human vulnerabilities. Individuals and organizations should prioritize security awareness training, implement security measures for email, and encourage vigilance when dealing with unusual or urgent requests. And I will add that this is not a large business problem solely. This is a very big problem for small and mid-sized businesses, so please pay attention. If you want to learn more, including 10 ways to protect your organization, click on the link in the show notes. And that's it for today. I hope you have a absolutely fabulous weekend. We'll be back again on Monday with a quick strike. Until then, as always, stay secure.